Well, I guess it goes to what I think this government represents, which is, in my opinion, it represents rich people. I think all kinds of corruption are going to be inherent in that. And the way that the military functions in general. Do I think that there should be no military of any kind? No, but I do think that we need a fundamentally different system, a fundamentally different kind of military. So yeah, I don't think that there's going to be any way. We've got to do a thorough, fundamental change in the system itself, in my opinion, before we're going to end this. Otherwise, it's just going to continue on. There's wars and wars and wars because it's all about maintaining that basic, that ability to expand, which is what capitalism is lacking now. There's no more. A third of the world used to be, communist. That's not true anymore. But where else do you go? Bush is talking about. I don't know if people remember, but there was a while where people were talking about going to Mars to get H3. What is he talking about? Well, there's nowhere else to go. They're grasping at straws. They're looking for some way to expand in a world that's closed. So yeah, I don't know if the point is that we need to get rid of all military, but I do think we need to fundamentally change the military.
Here's the the dimension that history did not start with the Gulf of Tonkin, right? And the U.S. is still the military hegemon, financial hegemon, economic hegemon in the world. I think that's still the case. Will be for a long time unless something changes. The problem with trying to change everything too radically, in my opinion, is the last time that happened, which was in the late 1900s, when the world changed, when one power went away and another one came in. We had half a century of depression and 2 world wars, and you have to be careful how you change so you don't bring that on again. And I see real risks of that with the way that the power in the world is changing. All I'm saying is, I think the U.S. has done terrible things over the last half century. But if you get rid of that, if you get rid of everything, then we run great risks of really big problems in the future.
So if you get rid of the the hammer, nobody's around to hit the nails. Right?
Well, for 500 years at least, there's been a single power in the world that essentially set the rules and enforce them. There's no other way to put it. And every time there's been a transition, there have been huge problems. So all I'm not saying that what we do is great. I wish there was someone else that were more benevolent about doing what has to be done than the U.S. has been over the last half century. But if you get rid of what the U.S. some of the things the U.S. does in terms of enforcing.
It kind of reminds me of what's called the Pax Romana, where they said, that all these local tribes during the Roman Empire would be fighting each other, and the Romans would come in and they would annihilate everybody, and then they would call peace, I think that's largely the only that's what the United States has been trying to be, I think. I think they actually have not achieved anything close to other empires like Britain. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, what would happen if even if we're under a horrible, empirical dictatorship or whatever, what happens if the power shifts and someone won't be as nice? Maybe we're not nice, but we're not as bad or something. But I would think, in my opinion, is that there's a fundamental problem in general with the way that nations themselves have been devised. Nations themselves are created through wars and revolutions, and they don't. But the reality is, if we look at the economic system, it's very global. and that this is one of the fundamental contradictions that causes wars in the first place. You know, I think part of what needs to happen is rethinking, nationhood. Well, what is a nation? These political boundaries are part of the problem. So instead of having, and I would also say that I don't think that that's actually why there was all this depression and war in the early part of the 20th century. I would say that the real change that occurred was that the world was, just like now, completely taken up. There was nowhere else for it to go, It was actually fundamentally, in my opinion, a capitalist crisis that happened in 1914 that caused World War I. It was a capitalist crisis that caused World War II. So what ended up happening was the same thing. The only difference was that after World War II, we annihilated the world, so we could rebuild everything all over again and start from scratch.